So we've done some market research here at 9 News, and we've discovered that many of our viewers are in fact alive. However, what happens after you live has become a real problem for many as far as what you do legally. And that's why our 9 News legal expert, Whitney Traylor, is here with us today to talk about some important decisions that you should make while you are alive and make sure that it is understood what you want to have done with you when you're no longer alive. It can be complicated.
People don't like talking about death, and they don't even like addressing it. But the bottom line is, if you don't, you run into a lot of other problems.
There's so many problems, and it's such a tough time when the family is dealing with all these issues. It's completely emotional. There's so many decisions. So as much as we can do beforehand, and a lot of people are really organized and have this stuff laid out, and it really does make a difference and prevents a lot of fights.
So what's 1, 2, 3? What are the 1, 2, 3 things people need to take care of before they leave?
Well, there's a lot of things. So a lot of things will happen by beneficiary designation, your insurance, your 401k, those kind of things. But your home, your debt, your E-Trade, some of these other things won't necessarily pass in a certain way. And so what you want to think about is the age of your children and whether they may need a trust because they can't handle all of this. You know, do people know where everything is? So these are a number of things to think about just in general as it relates to
having a will, having a functioning last will and testament.
That's exactly right, but it's even more simple than that, like finding where your passwords are, your accounts, what you have, just having one file that says, here's where everything is if this happens. There's spouses who can't get to bank accounts
all the
because
time.
of that, right? And so these are sort of the general, the financial and documented type things, but here we're also talking about now what can happen with your body.
And that's another question. I mean, some laws have changed in Colorado, and updating with the times, and we have options.
And it's very kind of unusual to talk about, but one of them is human composting. And so that's where you're essentially in a vessel they put you in, and it takes about 3 to 6 months, and you naturally decompose, and then they actually give you the soil, and you can put the soil then in your
garden or yard or whatever?
Yeah, your garden, not your vegetable garden though. The law prevents you from using this on food for human consumption.
Okay.
So it's more like your roses and things like that.
So this is something that you, as an individual, would most likely take care of or make clear to those who will follow you as far as how you want to be your remains finally disposed or placed or wherever.
Right, that's exactly right. And this is the same thing if you want to be cremated or if you want a song played or how you want your funeral to go. And, this does take out a lot of the question mark, and you can actually put in you can have a contract with them and pay for it and have everything prearranged, and then they have other things. This was passed into law last year where Governor Polis said, yes, we can now do this, and there's only about 3 or 4 states that have it. They also have alkaline hydrolysis, which is known as aquamation, where the body's essentially liquefied and then you can put it in your plants and things like that. And then, of course, a green burial, which is the old school way where you're not embalmed, you're put in like a wood casket, and then you eventually, the body decomposes. And so people are saying, look, this is a real issue because even cremation, for example, emits all this fossil fuels, and so they're saying from an ecological perspective, this actually makes sense.
And you're coming at this from a legal angle, like making sure that this is all clear, that there are no questions asked when it comes to what you want done with your remains.
And that's exactly right. So there's 2 issues. Can we actually do this? There's certain things you can't do with the human body even after it's deceased, even if somebody left it like that. But so that's one thing. But the other piece, I think, the takeaway that I think is important for people is to actually think about these things and identify, have you identified if you're an organ donor? Do you want a cremation? Do you want, all of these things? Some people it's really important to, but it does take out such drama at a time when people are already extremely
very
stressed.
Stressed time.
Yes.
All right, Whitney, thanks. A lot to talk about, a lot to think about, and hopefully things that people will take care of in advance so that
have that
those
little
times
family discussion.
Yes.
Maybe
good.
not at Thanksgiving, but sometime.
Whenever you're together. Thanks, Whitney.
And a quick shout out to my niece, Lauren, 22 today. So happy birthday, Lauren.
Happy birthday, Lauren.
Thanks, Whitney.